Hi, it's Sarah with Sarah's Art Life, and I'm back in the studio again on a Sunday afternoon after a beautiful week here in Bellingham, Washington. I hope that you've had a good week. I know that there's a lot of challenges out there, so good job for making it through. And hopefully during this time you've been able to incorporate some self-care and maybe even a revitalization of some of the things that you used to like, but maybe didn't have time for. Today, let's make a little time to study composition, and we'll be using tulips and forsythia as our subject. So let's gather our materials. What exactly is composition? When we think about composition, we might think of those black and white marble notebooks that we fill up today or when we were kids. We might think about a musical composition or all the things that go into making a beautiful piece of music. And art really is the same. It's all of the things that go into making a beautiful piece of art, or at least all of the subjects and how they're arranged. There's a rule that I'd like to introduce, and I do this with great trepidation because it involves fractions and I'm not a mathematician. However, I do like the rule, which is the rule of thirds. Whenever we are designing our composition, it's good to follow this rule of thirds. Let me show you what that means.
So how do we follow the rule of thirds? Well, we divide our paper or canvas into 9 parts. Hopefully, I can do this in about an even tic-tac-toe board. Now that we have that board, we can either play tic-tac-toe or we can continue with our composition. So let's continue with the composition. Our eyes like to follow these thirds lines. We like to focus here on the thirds. We also like to follow the direction of the lines. So as an artist, you can create a good composition by following the rule of thirds, establishing a focus along the lines that indicate the thirds, and following those lines to some degree to guide the viewer's eye through the composition, almost as though you're helping them follow a map.
Now that we've established our thirds, let's add in our composition. I'm going to switch to my pencil. I'll go over it in pen in a moment. But I'm going to lead my viewer's eye, putting a tulip here on this 1/3, 1/3 line right there. I don't feel a need to draw my vase and my ball jar. I may draw another tulip down here with its head kind of lolling. I may draw another tulip up here, not quite as large. And maybe that one is heading in another direction. Stem coming this way, stem coming this way, stem coming this way. Go ahead and draw over that in pen so that it's relatively easy to see. These look a lot like those eggs we drew the last time. My main stem. Another stem, kind of marking around where I made my initial marks in pencil. Okay, and then of course we see that these tulips have different markings on them, so we can decorate those in any way that we want. Make them look realistic. You can do a composite of a number of tulips as you draw them, so you don't have to draw it looking exactly like the tulips that you see. And again, I might do this all in pencil before I start adding pen. Okay, so I have my tulips. Now, I love forsythia. I love the way it winds around things and wraps around, so I might draw it behind this. Made a nice little interwoven forsythia branch, 2 branches. And again, these are just shapes I'm making, line and shape. Don't know if I'm drawing these anatomically correct or botanically correct. I don't know. I think that all living things seem to have their own personality, so anatomy might work for my purposes anyway. Maybe not for yours, especially if you're a scientist. Okay. Notice that nothing's perfect. And it's okay. It can be kind of sketchy. We've been accused a few times of being a little sketchy. Wow, that's really bunchy. So I think I almost want to continue this over here. All right. So my viewer's eye, I'm hoping, is being led over in one direction, in this direction. Notice I don't have to make everything going in that direction. I think I might add some leaves behind here. I might add a little bit of green in the background. Tulips oftentimes are so long that we don't see the leaves in the first place, so I guess you can use your judgment on that. Depends. Okay. So this is a really simple composition. It's not perfect, but it'll do to demonstrate that we follow the lines of the third markings of the paper to develop that composition in a pleasing way to add focus and to add direction of movement or flow or rhythm in a painting or drawing. One note, as I use my watercolors to add color, I like to take my moist watercolors and add a little bit of water to them. And when I do this, they're more saturated and ready to go when I need them. You could do this with dry pan watercolors. Some of the kids' watercolor sets in particular come very, very dry. And if we add water and let it sink in, we'll get a much more satisfying color from our watercolor. It works with moist as well, although I don't need to add much water to my moist to get it reactivated and energized. I'm going to use a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of pink, a dark pink. When that pink and that yellow come together, they'll go ahead and make a nice orangey red for my tulips. So let me go ahead and add a little bit of color here. Of course, these tulips don't have to be red or pink or yellow. They could be white, they could be purple, they could be polka dotted. You could do that. But just to show you that you can add this color to your pen and ink, and it can be a lovely crayon drawing. I've done whole drawings in crayon that are just really vibrant and beautiful. All right, I'll add a little bit of yellow here. Hopefully this is large or bright enough, light enough for you to see. And again, this could be used as a sketch, a finished piece. It could lead to something bigger. It could lead to more ideas. That's always good.
All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and add a little darker yellow to my forsythia. I've got two yellows here. I've got a cadmium yellow, and I've got a lighter yellow. Maybe I have a cad medium and a cad light. Anyway, we've got all sorts of paint colors. Sometimes we could talk about color too. I love color. I love putting color in everything. Sometimes I put too much color in. You might see that in a painting that I worked on from these tulips and forsythia today. And so I'm gonna add a little green. You notice there's not much green in forsythia. They're mostly yellow flowers first and the green comes later. When I was a kid, for some reason, I really didn't like that, but now I love that. It might be from Robert Frost's poem about the first color of spring being gold. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and draw my stem. I might color it mostly on one side, leaving a little bit of white in my painting or drawing, so that I do have that that feeling of light and shadow. Yeah. All right, so here's a little bit of tulips, a little bit of forsythia, a little bit of composition, a little bit of rule of thirds. Something fun to try. You certainly don't have to do flowers. You could do your vase, your favorite vase. You could do a still life that you set up for yourself. You could do your favorite toy. You could do anything you want. But in case you would like to paint these flowers from my still life of flowers, you're welcome to take a gander. All right, yesterday afternoon when it was bright and sunny out, I decided I would go ahead and practice before I tried to make a video. This was my first set of tulips and forsythia. You can see I put a lot more greenery in there. Again, different from the one today, but both have validity to them. And then last night I worked up a painting. It's not quite done yet, but this is kind of where I went with my tulips and forsythia. This is in acrylic and on a canvas, and this is probably one of my favorite mediums, that and sketching. So I've gotten to do two of my favorite mediums because I've made this video. Thank you for watching. I wish you a great time painting and another great week ahead. Good job. Keep on keeping on. Here's my dog Oakley. Whoop, he's my creative inspiration. He's about to knock an easel down. He's got chickens to look for, squirrels to chase after, and more paintings to inspire. Thanks for watching.